San Antonio's march. Did you know?
I don't know. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, we're in the middle of a conversation. We're just having too much fun. You know, I was telling those that are here today that, you know, some days I feel like Big Bird surrounded by the Empire Strikes Back. Because I'm just, you know, I can walk in or doing certain things and I'm just like, la, 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 la. And the people are just like, oh, you know, what made you so happy? And I'm like, I'm here. I woke up this morning. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Center for Practical Spirituality, where we're going to get you started. I'm going to tell you this morning at work, at where I was working at, what ended up happening is that I was taking a small break and we were watching this. It's called Snap, I think that's the name of it. And so it was just a small segment. But one of the parts that came out, it's kind of like the twist was that apparently, you know, it was like there was this menage a trois kind of stuff going on. And so the lady and I that were sitting there and just kind of watching, we were like, what? But I didn't say what. I went, ah! Because it was shocking. I was shocked. I was just, in shock. So what ended up happening, needless to say, I forgot that I was in at home. You know, because my dogs are used to me screaming and hollering whenever I see something that is just like, out of this world for me. And so they'll just look and they'll just, oh, it's just mom, you know. So the lady who's in charge, she was just like, oh my God, what happened? What happened? And I was like, oh, it was just me. I was watching this, I said, and they shocked me. She goes, oh my goodness. She goes, I thought you had fallen. I thought something had happened. I said, no. I said, we're fine. We're just watching. I said, something about snapped over here. She goes, oh, don't watch it, Katrina. Please don't finish watching it. I did, and it was a plot twist. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm going to tell you, it's kind of like one of the things that I really enjoy is, you know, waking people up. Making people kind of going like, oh my God, what just happened? Or for us to be so lively that, you know, it's kind of like the joy is at the center of our being. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into our statement of being, which is God is all, both visible and invisible, one presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am ever one. Life, perfect love, and perfect substance. And so it is. Well, let me go ahead and give you, I was looking at some scripture readings. And I wanted to share this one with you. It's Isaiah 65:24. And this is what it says. Before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The other one is going to be 46:1. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. How many times have we been like in the midst of craziness and in the midst of chaos, and yet we're still peace be still? How many times have we, you know, before we even ask for help, all of a sudden somebody just appears and it's like, and all of a sudden they're just like, hey, how are you? Oh my gosh, I was thinking about you. And what happens is that they were thinking about you, but it's because of the fact that you had put out, I'm going to explain it to you. It's because you had already put out the vibration, okay, the energy. And what happened is that that particular person actually picked up on that vibration, and then they called you, or they show up, or they, you know, end up doing whatever it is that they end up doing. And it ends up being a serendipity moment. in many senses. Going back to Isaiah 65:24, we need to understand, before they call, I will answer. In other words, before you even say it out loud, it's already being answered. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear, because everything is energy. So therefore, as you continue to stay focused on a particular, I'm healthy, I am healthy, I am healthy, I am healthy, then all of a sudden it's kind of like the universe aligns so that you can have the right food to eat, the right things to drink, the right attitude. You start stating, claiming, and proclaiming the things that are actually very positive for you. There's a person who has been kind of observing me because they're trying to figure me out.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with But they're like, oh, okay, Katrina, well, you got water, and then you got green tea, and you got a lemonade. And I'm like, my preference is what? What do you think I'm going to say? What's my number one preference? Water. Exactly. My number one preference is always going to be water. At one time in my life, my preference was Bill Miller's tea, sweet. Oh, Lord. I can't even drink that now. I mean, I can't even get close to it. And all of my teas, be it green tea or otherwise, usually are unsweetened. Now, QT, by the way, just in case if you're wondering, QT has some good unsweet tea.
Yes, my favorite there is the green tea with peach.
Green tea with peach. But by the way, I mean just the unsweet tea by itself. Anyway, let's get back into our wonderful, before I go into the wonderful, kind of like a whole other, trail, and that trail goes to tea. Let's go back to, I know, right? We've got the giggles today, honey. But I'm going to tell you that our number one thing is that before we even say it, it's already being thought of. Earlier today, as I was talking to, those that I was ministering to, I told them, what's the difference between hope and faith? What's the difference between hope and faith? Anybody? Hope, you're going to be hoping all the time.
My faith knows.
Exactly. Whereas faith, it's already done. We can esperanza. Okay, in Spanish it's esperanza. Puedes estar esperando. What does esperando mean? I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. When you're hoping it will happen. Hope is fantastic. We all need hope. I hope to be, I don't know. I mean, it's like I was a drum major. I didn't hope just to be the drum major.
Yeah,
I didn't hope. I worked at it. I mean, every single night I went outside and I practiced my routine to the point that whenever I actually made it, the principal of the school, who happened to be the gentleman who lived across the street, he went ahead and he says, oh, thank God she made it.
She was tired of it.
He said, I could hear her every night practicing. But when you are faithful, whenever you are committed, whenever you are faithful, faith is going to be knowing. You have imagined, having that success. Seeing everybody, kind of coming together and being in unity. You begin things, if Disney said it and has stated it for time and time and time again. If you can imagine it, then you can what? Then you can do it. It can come forth. You take things from the invisible plane, which is going to be the playing field in many senses. And then if it's like you tweak it, and you see it, and you can actually taste it, feel it, see it, hear it, And then it goes from that invisible plane to the visible. I'm going to repeat my story from this past month in many senses. One of the things is that there was a 5K run. I had asked, those that I was working with, hey, what was our numbers last year? And they said 120. And I thought to myself, without telling anybody, the power of manifesting, attracting, and demonstrating, okay? And I had said, in my mind, I said, thank you, God, because we now have 150 and above. That was the number that I focused on. That was the number that I stated. I said 150 and above for 2025. And so a few days prior to the actual, event, it's like we got an email and it was 148. And I was like, oh, I hadn't told anybody and I didn't say anything to anybody. And that was being it's kind of like there was a question of, shall we close it now? And I thought to myself, nope, don't close it. But I didn't say anything, kept it to myself. So then the day of the event, once they closed, it's kind of like the last numbers came out. It was 183. Oh, I was so happy. Why? Because not only had infinite intelligence and divine mind and the wonderful powers that be, I put out the number, I forgot about it, and I allowed the wonderful chef of life to actually cook up what needed to get cooked up, the people that needed to come, the people that needed to get the information, and the registered, and those people that got inspired to get registered. And then boom, all of a sudden it was 183 people. Not only did I meet the personal goal, but we exceeded that goal. But I also did my part. Whenever I felt so inclined to actually send out the forms and to call or to invite or so on and so, I did my part. You are to put the work whenever there is work to do. You'll be inspired. You'll be called. You'll be, kind of encouraged, to take right action. And that is key. You can dream it. You can close your eyes and imagine it. And that's why it is vitally important for us to understand that before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear. Isaiah 65:24. What a beautiful golden little gem for us to remember how closely we work with Source, with the creator of all. And we are one with that creator of all. Because our heart's desire is God's desire, and God's desire is our heart's desire. So let's get into the lesson. You're going, Katrina, we thought you were on the lesson. Oh, honey, we're just getting started. No, I'm just kidding. We're almost there, I promise. How much can we give? Jesus accepted the idea that thought was a movement of consciousness and would manifest in a world of people, places, and things. George Bindal. Once again, Jesus accepted the idea that thought was a movement of consciousness and would manifest in the world of people, places, and things. Our thought was movement of consciousness. Whenever we think, okay, I need for you to think of it almost as in the movie The Matrix. In the movie The Matrix, people are plugged into the Matrix, right? And then they unplug, and that's when there's movement everywhere as well. But whenever they are looking at the Matrix, the only thing you see is just numbers and green and these, things going up and down. Notice that the numbers are always going to be which way? They're going to be up and down, which is vertical, not horizontal. We are living, this is why they call it the moment now. This is where we're living in this time and space. when would now be a good time for us to understand that we have parallel universes? Now, you're thinking, Katrina, I can barely understand what it means, thought was a movement of consciousness, and now you're talking about parallel universes. It's okay. It's time for you to get into this wonderful world. And it's a beautiful world where you yourself, you're going to be able to understand how we are able to bend time, how we're able to actually manifest, attract, and demonstrate into our world what we truly desire. And that it's okay to tell universe, creator of all, infinite intelligence, divine mind, perfect divine, order, that we've changed our mind. How about them pickles? Well, thank you so very much for this, but this is not what I want. I want it like this. This is what I forgot to add into the recipe. You add it into the recipe, and then the wonderful, cook, God, manifester, creator, source, ends up going into the kitchen and recooking it and just making it to your perfection. The only thing you have to do is put in the order. So, how much can we give? Have we lost everything we had? If we have, then at long last we are ready to turn to that foundation that knows no loss. I am not referring to the concept that we are to suffer. I do not wish to suffer. I do not intend to do so any more than I have to. I certainly expect to make every provision I can for myself and my family while we are in this world. I have never known anyone who was able to take their worldly goods with them when they have left this world. And that's very true. I mean, thousands. I've been around thousands of people who have gone, who have died, who have, gone to the other. They didn't take anything with them. Nothing. Not one thing do they take with them except their soul. That's it. Their soul goes with them. Their soul is exactly what, comes in and out. In and out of form. Energy and God. God and energy, by the way. How much can we give? That much we will have. It comes right back to this. How much can we love? God, what? Any more perfect than this? It couldn't have gotten any more perfect. Because today I was talking in reference to what is it that we can give to each other? And what we're being, what did Jesus give if it wasn't love? What did Buddha give if it wasn't love? What did Krishna give if it wasn't love? Now, Kali's a little different, okay? If you go looking up Kali, she will either destroy you, because you were just, here I am, and she obliterates you, or she loves you, okay? But there's no in between. No in between. Love ends up being the answer. And what's higher than love? What frequency is higher than love? Anybody? Somebody? Authenticity. Being and coming from your authentic self. In other words, people will know whenever, oh, hi, how are you? Really? Or you're going to be, hey, how are you? It's so good to see you. Now you can see the difference. I know I would prefer to be around somebody that's going to be authentic and is not going to try to poke my eyes. Because the number one thing that I really, as hard as it is to accept the truth, I prefer the truth over a what? A lie. So, that much affection shall be ours. To what degree can we abandon ourselves to life, not in a silly, sentimental, emotional way, which is a camouflage for an inferiority complex, but in the nobility of that spirit that we offer itself to itself and put our feet out in a void and find ourselves on solid rock. I know of no other success. The Word was with God, and the Word is God, and there is no difference. Let me read that once again. The Word was with God, and the Word is God, and there is no difference. That Seminary Lectures, 1955, page 101. Here, Holmes brings up the existential question of whether we are to suffer to appreciate happiness and contentment, and his reaction seems to be, as he says elsewhere, that the world has suffered enough. We may have lost love, friendship, finances, or we may have lost trust, wonder, hope, and faith. Still, turning to our source, all may be restored and renewed. We don't know how this will happen, but then we've never known exactly how the creative process delivered for us in the past. You know, whenever my mom died, she passed away, she died, she left, you know, and I was full of joy for her because she was no longer suffering. Okay, she was no longer hurting. Recently, I missed my mom. Just something really, really tremendous, more than usual. And what ended up happening is that I was at dinner with my aunt and my uncle, or it was lunch or something. We were just sitting there, we were talking about all these different things, and then all of a sudden, one of the ladies that was there at the restaurant, she goes, "Mona!" And we were like, and we all just stopped. My uncle and I, we just looked at each other, and my uncle goes, "Hey, she's here for you." I said, "Behave." And then my aunt was just like, "Oh, Lord." Well, then, later, that same day, my aunt sends me a picture of a lady. And I'm telling you, it was the spitting image of Mona herself. I thought my aunt was sending me an old picture of my mom. And instead, it was a lady who was passing up my aunt as she was in the truck at Sam's. And my aunt sent it to me. She goes, look who was here. And I said, and I looked at it, and then I read, and once again, I screamed. Okay, I have that habit now. I don't know why. Anyway, and I was like, "Oh my God." And then I showed it to another person, and they were like, "Oh, look, your mother." I said, "No, that is not my mom." I said, "That's a lady who looks like mom." She goes, "Oh my goodness, Katrina." And my mom has been visiting, I guess you could say. So the reason that I bring this up is because of the fact that when my mother left, she took nothing with her except her soul. Okay? But the other thing is that it's taken me about 6, almost 7, it's going on 7 years. It's going to be 7 years this year. Anyways, it's, her anniversary date is coming up. And it's taken me quite a while to be in that sense of yearning for her presence, that love, that care. And how much can we give? When you give, in a place of yearning to be able to have, like the opportunity to pick up your phone and to just call your mom. That's what I was yearning for. Because at one time, whenever I would be going through a whole bunch of stuff, I could pick up the phone at any given time and I could talk to my mom. My mom was one of my best friends. She really was. until after Dad's death, and that she and I, we didn't talk. We were talking, but we weren't talking. And so I missed that friendship that she and I had, So here I was about a week ago, or give or take, and, her energy was around. Why was her energy around? Because of the fact that, there have been quite a few different things that I needed to learn and remember what not to do. And she is the teacher of what not to do for me. And I remembered, it was like, oh, okay, so she's here to remind me, don't do what I did, Mary Catherine. Don't do what I did. Do better than me. And so, creative mind, even before, and it goes back to Isaiah saying, before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. Literally, my mother, God, source, creator of all, literally answered my needs before I even knew that I had that need, or even before. So therefore, literally expansion of consciousness and awareness. There was a connectivity that was actually occurring, and where if I hadn't been paying attention, then I would have missed the lesson. I would have missed the lesson. Still turning to our source, all may be restored and renewed. Once again, still turning to our source, all may be restored and renewed. We don't know how this will happen, but then we've never known exactly how the creative process delivered for us in the past. With my mother's passing, there was quite a few things that ended up occurring, things that I experienced, a lot of things that went, to the wayside, all of these. And so then all of a sudden now I'm in a point of understanding and knowing, and that's faith. Faith is, living by faith and not by sight. Knowingness, I know, I am, I see, I feel, the knowingness that you are not alone. Never, ever, 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 ever. We affirm there is nothing that can hinder me from entering into the fullness, the completeness of my own self-expression. The number one love affair that you will have is with yourself. And when you learn to love you, you are also having an existential experience. That experience of God being in you, through you, and as you. The number one affair that you will have is going to be with you. The question is, will you honor you? Will you love you? Will you love the Christ consciousness, the Christ mind within you? Will you allow the Buddha mind, the Buddha, consciousness to expand as well? Will you allow you to be a part of something greater than what is out there in this world? You can be in the midst of the chaos and be what? The peace. The peace, be still. I'm going to read one other little place and then we're finishing up. I've got to put the glasses back on. Hold on. Okay. Everyone needs someone who is just a touch or a card or a phone call away. Someone with whom you can share everything that's in your heart, or simply talk about the day in the way that only the two of you can. Everyone needs someone to encourage them, to believe in them, to give a pat on the back when things have gone right, and a shoulder to cry on when they haven't. Everyone needs someone to remind them to keep trying and that it will all work out. I hope everyone has someone who is as marvelous as you. The book that I'm reading from is called You Are an Amazing Lady. And it was given to me back in 2016 by my late husband, Nicholas. And he told me, right here, he says, my life, my love, my partner, till the end. May this book express what I do not know how. Love, Nick. May this book express to you who you are to so many people out there. Please remember that it would be nice to have someone who is as marvelous as you are. You are priceless. You are invaluable. You are a dream come true. But you have to be that person first for yourself. I hope and pray to God that today has brought you just a tad bit closer to understanding and knowing what are you willing, how much are you willing to give, so that you can know what true love is. And what is true love? Look in the mirror. That's what true love is. Whoo-wee. Boy, howdy. Today has been a fun day, hasn't it? Oh, my Lord. Didn't think it was going to get that serious, but you know what? We are always, being inspired by wisdom. And wisdom is always going before us and making wonderful, a wonderful way so that we can continue to be of service to a greater cause. So at this point, I would love for us to, if you have any prayer requests, if you have any petitions that you would like for us to actually pray on, please submit them into the thread, or you can send them to me via, Messenger. And just know that we're here for you. Always praying for you one way or another. And, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and kind of do a shout out, to Miss Mary Jane. Mary Jane is here. She's back. She had, it's kind of like a really great recovery. She went ahead and she, just like a trooper, she went in there. She got things taken care of. When was the last time you were here, Mary Jane?
It was probably August.
August, right? It was at the right before your birthday, or when was your birthday?
The 3rd
of
August.
August, so it was after that, right?
Before, so I was upgraded on the 8th.
Okay, so August, and here we are. Now we're in October, and she's back. She is just going at 100 miles an hour here. Oh, look at this. So I'm going to read this to you because she always gives me some really good things. Hold on. I've got to put on the glasses. That's what happens, okay? My eyesight is really good in comparison to, but still. What is your life partner? Or who is your life partner? Mom, dad, mom, dad, wife, son, husband, daughter, friends? Not at all. Your real life partner is your body. Once your body stops responding, no one is with you. You and your body stay together from birth till death. What you do to your body is your responsibility, and that will come back to you. The more you care for your body, the more your body will care for you. What you eat, what you do for being fit, how you deal with stress, how much rest you give it, will decide how your body is going to respond. Remember, your body is the only permanent address where you live. Your body is your asset, your liability, which no one else can share. Your body is your responsibility because you are the real life partner. Be fit forever. Take care of yourself. Money comes and goes. Relatives and friends are not permanent. Remember, no one can help your body other than you. The pranama for lungs, meditation for mind, yoganas for body, walking for heart, good food for intestines, good thoughts for the soul, and good karma for the world. Did you send this to me already, Mama? Hold on. Let me see. Let's see. Here, I'll let you. Neil, can you take that back to her? Isn't that wonderful? It's like, isn't that wonderful? If you send it to me, I'll be able to send it to everybody. That's really good food for the soul. I mean, your number one life partner is going to be you. If you don't love you, if you don't care for you, I mean, I fight tooth and nail for myself nowadays. It's kind of like, Katrina, you want to go do this? No. Katrina, you want to do that? No. Katrina, you want to? No. Katrina, you want to go to the movies? Yes. Katrina, you want to go to dinner? Yes. But there's some other stuff that I'm like, no, no. And no, unless I really have to, but I love the word no. I used to be a yes person all the time.
For our own best good, we have to learn to say no.
For our own very best good, we have to learn to say no, most definitely. So let us go ahead and hold our tithes and our offerings and our wonderful prayer requests in our hands, and let us say together, divine love in me, as me, and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is, and so it is. Ladies and gentlemen, here at Center for Practical Spirituality, we're small but mighty. But more importantly, we we just uplift and uphold and really desire the very best for one and all, regardless of the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want for our souls to be uplifted, and for our, wonderful, for our bodies to actually feel the love. What can I tell you? In a few years, we're going to have, I'll be very honest with you. We've already had alien contact. We're just not talking about it like we really should. We're elevating, we are expanding. We're going to, for years, people have been able to, what do they call that? Where you get to be in two places or two or three places at the same, bilocate. People have been bilocating for years now. It's just not common knowledge. Oh, now it is, because I'm telling it out loud. But you can bilocate. If I come out, I'm just going to say it out loud. If you dream me, nice, good to see you. Oops. And if I'm in there, saying hello, well, I travel. What can I say? Yeah. So just know that. And the only reason I say that is because I was dreaming the other day, and I was doing some work, and it's kind of like, it was a lot of fun. It really is. So just know, if you see me in your dreams, I'm there doing something right, taking care of business, doing exactly what I was instructed to do, which is to surround you and protect you, and infuse you and encourage you. And sometimes, I try to madres y padres every once in a while, but that's okay, so just don't be surprised. We are all elevating, okay? We are all intuitives, by the way. All of us are. Welcome to the new wonderful realization of Mother, Father, God inviting us to expand. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and say, I'm ready for a miracle. I'm ready for a miracle. I'm ready for a miracle today. I've got my mind in tune for one. I'm ready to experience one. I'm ready for a miracle today. My mind is open, ready to receive it. My heart is opened all the way. I do accept a miracle. I do accept a miracle. I do accept a miracle today. I do receive a miracle. I do receive a miracle. I do receive a miracle today. Very good, very good. Yay! I love you guys. We'll see each other next weekend.